It is just after 11 right now, so we'll get started just to honor everybody's time. So thank you very much for everybody coming out to join. My name is Jamai Lesman. I am the secondary engagement platform consultant, working a lot with Edsby in terms of its implementation in the board. I have colleagues with me who are going to be behind the scenes managing the chat window. So that's the place where if you have any questions of any kind related to the demonstration, you can put them there. We have Jeff Gonzalez, who is the elementary digital literacy consultant, and also Stephanie Wayrich, who's the another digital literacy consultant in the elementary panel. So they'll be supporting today, answering questions, putting links in the background. Jeff is the consultant for the East and Stephanie is the consultant for the North. Just so you know who you can reach out to if you have any questions after this session. So just a reminder to all participants, if you haven't done so, please mute your microphone and turn off your camera. If you hover over at the bottom of the screen with your cursor, you'll see three options. On the left, you'll see the mute the microphone button, and on the far right, you will see the closing the camera. So if those can be off, it helps a lot with the bandwidth of this. And also we are recording this session in hopes to be able to share a lot of the learning and some of the questions here today with some other educators. Okay, so at this point right now, I'm going to turn it over to Susan So, who is going to be leading us through the learning today. And again, she's going to also have a Q&A at the end. So if there are some questions that you need to ask, you can do so in the last about 20-25 minutes of the session. And we will be pausing for questions in between after each segment. So Susan, over to you.
Thanks, Jamai. Hi, my name is Susan So, and I'm the Elementary Engagement Platform Consultant. So today's session is using Edsby's Evidence of learning story to assign and upload student work. And it's without student login or accounts. So families will be accessing their children or child's learning through their Edsby accounts. So parent Edsby accounts are required. Okay, so I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show you is how to pin the tab for this Google Meet. Just in case you might accidentally close it while you're going between tabs if you wanted to try it out in your own Edsby account. So to pin a tab, you're gonna just navigate towards your tabs at the top of your browser, and then click on your Google Meet tab. So here I'm on my Google Meet tab. I'm going to right click. If you're on a PC, well, if you're using a mouse, double tap the trackpad if you're on a Mac. So right click, and then you have this drop down menu up here, and then you're gonna hit pin. And what it does is it removes that the exit button, so you can't accidentally close that browser, the Google Meet browser. Okay. So we're going to start off here, and this is a demo account, a teacher demo account. And the first step I'm going to show you is how to assign work using the Evidence of Learning. What you want to do is, after you've logged into Edsby, just going to give everyone a chance to log in if you're following along. And then after you've logged into Edsby, you're going to see your Edsby homepage. You're going to click into a class that you want to assign work in. So there's actually two ways to access the Evidence of Learning. The first way is to actually click on the New Evidence button that you see on your Edsby homepage. So whichever class you want to assign the work in for, you click on the New Evidence button. So I'm going to click on New Evidence for Language, and then it brings me up to the Select Students page. Or you can also access the Evidence of Learning to create your assignment by entering into a class. So I am going to enter into my language arts class to assign work. And then you'll see the evidence button at the top right-hand side on this menu bar, and I'm going to click that. And then it's going to take me into, this is what's called an evidence stream. So into my evidence stream, and then I'm going to click on new evidence, which is again going to take me to that same select students page as you've seen before. Okay, so there's two ways, right? There's the way of entering through the new evidence button on your home page, or you can enter through a class. So I'm going to click through a class, click evidence, and then click on new evidence. Now, when you are creating this piece of evidence or assigning work through the evidence of learning, I would suggest that you go through the subjects that you're assigning the work for instead of using your general homeroom, just because if you wanted to link curriculum expectations to the class, they are easily accessible through the different subject classes. So I'll show you that in a moment when we start assigning the work. Okay, so after you've done, you're in your evidence stream, or you're in your, you've clicked into new evidence. So I'm gonna start off by clicking new evidence. I'm gonna select all my students because I want to share this assignment with the whole class. If you wanna just share it with a group of students to differentiate learning, or if you want to just assign work for just an individual student, you can as well. And to unclick, you just click on the students and it will unclick. So after you've selected all your students, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to click next. And then it takes me to my new evidence form. So from there, you can attach any media to the work that you're assigning. So you can either take a picture, and then I'm just going to click allow, and then you can take a picture. Then you click on the red button to take that picture. Click on the garbage icon to remove the file. You can make a recording. So hi everyone, you click on the red circle to record. Hi everyone, welcome to Edsby. Click on the red circle again to stop the recording. Just gonna remove this file. You can actually make an audio recording when you're assigning work. So if you know your students are younger in the early years and they can't read at this point, you can give them an audio recording of the instructions. You can also attach a file from your computer. And you can also add a website link or a video link. So you would just copy and paste the website link here, or a YouTube video link in here. Or you can also add a file from your Google Drive. So if you click on the G icon, it'll take you to your GAPS account. You would log into your GAPS account, and it'll take you to your Google Drive. So the thing with attaching Google files from your Google Drive is that it will convert it into a PDF. So whether it be a Google Doc or a Google Slides, it will convert it to a PDF. So that's how you attach media files. When you want to assign work as written instructions, you want to click on Write an Observation, and it'll take me to the Add Observation form. So I'm just gonna type in this week we will continue to make connections. Share a book you read and tell me how it connects to you. And it adds the written instructions. You can also link curriculum frames and expectations. So you're going to click on frames and expectations, and it'll take you to all of the curriculum expectations for the language subject. And this is where I was talking to you about you having to go into the subject-specific classes at the beginning. It's so that you can access these curriculum expectations on this window. Now, if you go into your homeroom, you won't see this. It'll be blank, but you can still access curriculum expectations by clicking on this, choose a new course. So if you click on that, it's going to bring up the expectations, and then you're going to search for it. So if you want grade 3 expectations, you would type in ON.3, and then it lists all the grade 3 curriculum. Grade 4 is ON.4, grade 2, ON.2, and then all the curriculum for grade 2 is listed there. So for this work, I'm going to select the strand oral communication. I can select the overall expectation and the specific expectation. And I'm going to scroll all the way down, and then I'm going to click done. And then you'll see that the curriculum expectations appear as codes on the form. So parents will also see the expectations as codes, but when they hover over the expectations, it'll give them the description of those expectations. That's not available on their mobile device, but when they use a laptop or their desktop, they'll be able to do that through their browser. Next is adding custom tags. You want to click on custom tags. You can add a custom tags to your assignment. So I'm going to write literacy and then just click enter, making connections. Enter. You can also access your previously used tags here at the bottom. The more frequently you use those tags, the bigger in size the tag will be. The less you use them, they'll be smaller in size. And then you're going to click done. You're going to scroll down. Under students, you just want to confirm that you have all the students there. And then here's the key part. You're going to click on the box share with student and parent. And when you do that, you're going to be sharing that post, the assigned work, with your families and the students in their learning stories. So for teachers, on the teacher side, we're creating a piece of evidence, or you're assigning work using the evidence of learning. But when parents and students, when they access this post, they'll see it in their learning story. So that's the language you'll be using with your families, the learning story. And then you're going to click save. And then here it is. This week, we will continue to make connections, share a book, and tell me how it connects to you. And it's in my evidence stream. And I'm just going to confirm that it's in the learning story. So I'm going to click on the learning story tab. And I'm going to check for Katie. And here it is. This week, we will continue to make connections, share a book you read, and tell me how it connects to you. And this is what Katie and her family will see when her parents log in and access Katie's learning story. This is the post that she'll see. So I'm going to pause here now to take any questions that you have. Oh, actually, one other thing. If parents want to use the QR code, if you would like parents to use the QR code to share their children's learning, you can enable those QR codes for the parents to use. So I'm just going to show you how to do that quickly. So when you're in the classroom, there's the drop-down menu that you see at the right top-hand corner. You're going to click on that. It's beside the bell. And then you're going to go to Setup. Scroll down on your Setup form. And then here is the checkbox that you'll have to check. Allow students and parents to print Edsby capture QR codes. So you have to have this box checked in order for your parents to see their QR codes when they're in their children's learning story and print it off to use. And then you're just going to click Save, and that's going to enable the QR codes for your families. So I'm just going to pause here to take any questions that anyone might have.
Hi, it's Despina.
Hi, Despina. Tina?
Hi, I just had a question about the QR codes that you just mentioned.
Yes.
So if we share that with the parent, you're saying that they don't have to take a picture from their phone of the work and send it through the broadcast to us. That QR code is assigned to that specific child, and they can just send it in the learning story, so it just adds a continuous stream there.
No, so what they do with the QR code is they will have to print it. What I showed you is how to enable it so that you don't have to send the QR codes to the families themselves.
Right.
It'll just show up in their learning story. They'll have to print it off and then use the Edsby Capture app to scan the QR code and then take a picture of their child's work, and it'll directly you'll have it in your evidence stream.
And that's just a one-time thing they have to do?
Yeah, they just have to print it up once.
Okay.
And then as they continue to share their child's learning, they can continue to use the Edsby Capture app on their mobile device to share the learning with you. So I'll show you how to do that in a moment from the parent's perspective, what it looks like.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm just going to move on because it's 11:18 now and I just want to honor the time. So the next thing I wanted to show you is what it looks like from the parent's end. So I'm going to log in to a parent demo account and show you what parents can do to access the learning story. So here I am in Sandra Manning. She's the mom of a student in my class, Katie, and I'm going to access the learning story on behalf of my child, Katie. So I'm in my Edsby account. I've logged in, and here I have my kids listed. So Katie and Mary. I'm going to open the drop-down menu to see her classes, Katie's classes, and then I see the learning story, her learning story. I'm going to click into learning story, and then this is Katie's learning story. So if I scroll down, I'll see everything the teacher has shared with me in Katie's learning story. So here's the QR code that I mentioned, and Despina, this is how the parent would print the QR code. They would click print QR code, and then it'll show the QR codes that they can access. Oh, none of the QR codes are shared. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and share that again. So I'll just share with you. Go to language, setup. It says allow students and parents to, and then I'm gonna click save. Okay, let's go back to the parent demo account. Go to Katie's learning story. Print QR code. It's taking a while to load. Sorry about that. Okay, so while we wait, I'll show you what it looks like once the parent prints the QR code. Okay, so the QR code looks like this. Once the parents click on print QR code, the QR codes will look like this, and they'll see it by subjects. So the parent will have to download the Edsby Capture app and then scan this QR code. And once they've scanned the QR code, they'll be able to take a picture of the learning that their child did, and then it'll send it directly to the teacher's evidence stream. From there, the teacher can see that piece of learning that the parent has shared, and then decide whether or not they want to share that with the parent. So they'll have to go back in and share that learning with the student and parent. One limitation, though, is that parents will not be able to go back and delete the photos. Just say they made a mistake when they took that photo. They can't go back and delete the photo that they've taken. Only the teachers can on their side. So I'm just going to go back in. Oh, okay. So it looks like it's not working, but a QR code should show up. And then they would just print QR code, and then they'll be able to print those QR codes. I'm gonna go back. And once they're in their child's learning story, you're going to respond back to the teacher's assignment or learning opportunity. So it says, this week we will continue to make connections, share a book you read and tell me how it connects to you. And as Katie, I'm Katie's mom, helping Katie type this in, or she could type it in herself. I'm going to say, I read Not a Box, and it connects to me because I made something with a box this week. Okay, just like the teachers, the parents also have the option to attach a media file, so they can take a photo. So they would click on the camera icon, and then they can attach a photo, and then just click on the red circle to attach a photo. They could also record a video. They can record an audio, attach a file from their computer, add a video or website link, or add a file from their Google Drive. Again, when they add a file from their Google Drive, it will convert it to a PDF. So once they are done that, you're going to click Share. And then the parent has shared their child's learning with the teacher. So when I said previously, I said something about parents seeing the curriculum expectations. So this is how they would see it. They would just hover over the curriculum expectation code, and then they'll see a window pop up and it gives a description of each of those curriculum expectations. And it's only through a browser. So if they're using a laptop or a desktop, they'll be able to see the descriptions of the curriculum expectations, but they won't be able to do that on a mobile device.
Susan, sorry to interrupt you. We just see your pretty face right now. We don't see their screen.
Oh, sorry about that. I did.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry about that. I forgot to.
Thanks, Susan.
Okay, so sorry. I went through the whole thing without. Okay, so here is what I posted. I'm going to actually do this again, repeat this process for you. So here's the post that the teacher posted, the work that she assigned or he assigned. And then as a parent, I'm going to go in and reply to this post with my child's learning. So I'm just going to repeat this. I read Not a Box, and it connects to me because I made a box. And then parents can add a photo by clicking on the photo icon. They can take a video recording. They can make an audio recording, attach a file from their computer, add a video or website link they want to share with the teacher, or even add a file from their Google Drive. And then after they've replied, they're going to click Share, and the learning is shared with the teacher. Now, if they wanted to use the QR code to do that, I'll just quickly show you how that works. And I'm going to now take it off the screen so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going the Edsby Capture app. It's different from the Edsby app. The Edsby app, you log in to access the classes, but the Edsby Capture app is to actually take pictures and submit it to the evidence of learning stream. So I'm gonna open up my Edsby Capture app. I don't know if you can see it, but it says scan student QR code. So I'm going to take my QR code, and I'm a parent doing this or a student, and I'm going to scan it. Okay, after I've scanned it, it's going to take me to the camera, and then I'm going to take a picture of the learning. Okay, so this is what I've taken a picture of. And then I'm going to press use photo. Okay, once it's done, it says upload complete, and it should be in the teacher's evidence of learning stream. So I'm just going to pause here, and I'm just going to take some questions if anyone has any.
Hi, it's Despina again. I'm just wondering, based on other people's experiences, how have you find it best to train parents doing this? Is it via a curriculum night, or just you've sent it out as a recording yourself to them? I'm just wondering, I teach kindergarten, I'm just wondering what would be a way to do this, because currently I'm doing this kind of in the broadcast. I don't, we're just posting the e-learning every week through the broadcast. That's where I'm at right now in my Edsby learning, but certainly want to expand it for next year. Just wondering what other people's experiences are with this in terms of parent training.
I know that we have some resources for parents available on the YRDSB board website. So if you go to yrdsb.ca and then you click on parents, and then you click on K-12 online learning platform resources, there's resources for parents on how to do certain things, like there's tip sheets and screencast videos. We just recently uploaded one for Learning Story. So there's a Learning Story for Parents tip sheet. So when I open that, it shows teachers how to access the Learning Story and how to use it and set up notifications for Learning Story. And there's also a screencast video that shows parents how to actually use the Learning Story tool. So I'm not going to go through that, but yeah, so resources are available on the YRDSB board website.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, Susan, just one question about clarifying kind of the differences, or maybe subtle differences, between when you would use Edsby Capture compared to actually just posting things through the Edsby platform itself.
Okay, so when parents use the Edsby Capture, it's not going to be linked or connected to the work that was assigned. So it'll just be a piece of evidence standalone in the Learning Story. So teachers can assign nothing specific, but more of parents feel free to share what your child has been up to this week, and then they can, when they can at their convenience, they can take pictures and use the Edsby Capture app to do that. But if you want it organized so that you can access it, access the sharing of that learning opportunity to have it connected to a specific assignment that you posted, then that's when you would want parents to reply to the post that you've made. Okay, hope that answers that question for you. Okay, so we're just going to now, I'm just minding the time, so we're just going to move on to the last part of this drop-in session, which is giving feedback to the students once the parents have responded. So I'm back in my teacher's demo account, and I'm going to go in to see what my students have shared after I've posted that work, assigned that work. So I'm going to go into my language arts because that's where I've assigned the work, click into the class, and then I'm going to click on evidence. Okay. You'll notice that I didn't click on the new evidence button, and that's because I'm not creating a new piece of evidence. I'm not creating a post to assign work, but I'm now checking to see what my students have posted. So once you go into the class, click evidence, and then I'm going to click on learning story. And then I'm going to look for the student that posted, which is Katie. And then here it is. Here is Sandra Manning. So you're not going to see the student's name because the student hasn't logged in and posted. It's through the parents. So you have the mom's name, Sandra, and she posted for her child. I read not a book, and it connects to me because I made something with a box this week, and she even attached a photo. Then what you're going to do is you're going to respond back and give feedback. So you're going to say, hi, Katie, thanks for sharing. What a great book you read. Please include the author's name. Okay, and then after you've given your feedback, you could also give feedback by taking a photo, recording a video, doing a audio recording, attaching a file from your computer, adding a website or a video link, or adding a file from your Google Drive. And then you're going to click share. Okay, once you've clicked shared, this feedback will, the parents will see that feedback in their child's learning story. When the parent has shared a piece of evidence or their child's learning through the Edsby Capture app, you can access that through your evidence stream, or sorry, your learning story. Oh, it didn't go through, but they should be able to access it through the learning story and share that. Or, it looks like it didn't appear. So I'm going to have to investigate why, but it should show up in your evidence stream. And from there, you can share that piece of evidence with the student and family. Wondering if it's in the homeroom, that's why. So I'm going to go into the homeroom, go to evidence. Oh, here it is. And here is the evidence, the piece of evidence that the parent has shared using the Edsby Capture app. So you'll notice it's in your evidence stream. It's not in the child's learning story because I haven't shared it with them, okay? So after the parent has shared the evidence using Edsby Capture, I'm going to click on Edit. And then I'm going to click on Share with Student and Parent. And this is where I would click and then save, and then it will appear in their learning story. So I'm going to go back, and there it is. And they can see what they've uploaded using Edsby Capture. So I'm just going to pause there and take any questions, if anyone has any. And then that's going to take us to the Q&A period.
Hi, I do have a question. Just wondering about the notifications. I noticed that I have notifications set up, and when I was testing it back and forth, just using the QR code myself for one of my students, and it tells me that in my classroom something new has happened, but it doesn't actually tell me what has happened. So just wondering if there's a way that it will like link to the specific learning story that's been shared, I saw the same when you did it with the reverse with the parent. It said something new had happened in her classroom, but it doesn't tell you what. So do parents have to go through and check every tab every time? Or is there a better way? And even when you were looking back at what the student had shared, you would have to look through each and every student to find out which student had shared with you. Is there a better way to do that? I'm just worried about missing things. I'm also a kindergarten teacher, so my partner has access to it, our prep teacher. So how do we make sure that someone is seeing everything that's posted is my question.
Yeah, great question. And it is something that has been surfaced in the past and more recently too. So for notifications in the learning story, unfortunately at this time, there are no notifications for both the parents and teachers that show specifically what was posted. So it is on Edsby's radar, and we've brought that to their development team to have that, put into place for the next round of developments. So yeah, something to look forward to, but definitely there is a need there.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So you had mentioned before the parents need to sign up for something for the learning stories. And I just wanted to be sure, like I'm currently not actively using learning stories, although I do know how they work. I would like to for next year, but I'm just wondering if there's an additional step that parents need to take. Right now, they are uploading information, like we're using the broadcast and the feed, and they are getting notifications, and we're doing all of that. It's just me not taking the step to upload to create the learning stories. Mm-hmm. And I have not yet started using the QR codes for them because I was hearing it was a little bit glitchy, so I didn't take that jump yet. Is there anything else I'll need to do when I am ready next year for learning stories, or if I decide to do it this year?
Good question. So in terms of setup for the parents, there's nothing you need to do for the parents. They just have to go in, log in, and then access their child's learning story from their Edsby homepage. For the teacher, again, in terms of setup, there's nothing to actually set up. You would just have to go into the class that you want to create the post for, and then just post using the evidence of learning, and then share it with the student and parent. I would communicate to the parents that you are going to be using a learning story to upload work or have the parents share their child's learning. So communication is needed, but in terms of the technical side of setting up Edsby, there is none.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Hey, Susan, I just wanted to double check for myself. I just wrote to Eunice that a student's learning story progresses with them every single year. They go from K to 12. Is that correct? I just wanted to confirm that.
Yes. And it's just like the student portfolios. It will follow them all throughout their education career from K to 12.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. One thing, but on the educator side though, after the school year is done, it'll be archived. So they will need to access the older post through the archive setting.
Right. Okay. So I was thinking more like Bobby goes from grade 1 to grade 2, and his learning story stuff goes with him as he progresses. So you can see the progression. Awesome. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? One thing I did want to share with everyone, I was, hoping I would get a chance to share, so maybe this might be a good time to do that, is we've been in the next phase of our learning and caring plan, and we've been supporting synchronous learning. So although Edsby is an asynchronous online learning platform and it doesn't have any synchronous learning tools built in, you can leverage Google Apps to support synchronous learning within the Edsby environment. So I just wanted to share demo one way of doing that if people are interested. This is shared with you through our Edsby digital choice board that was posted in the Learning Opportunities memo last week. So you can find the resource there, but I'm just going to quickly show you how you could share a Google Meet with your students through Edsby, if that's okay with everyone. So I'm going to share my screen because I don't want you to be staring at my face while I do that. Okay, click share. Okay, so I'm back in my Edsby teachers account, and the first thing I'm going to do is I want to post it in my evidence of learning because I'm going to have parents access it. You can also have it accessed in the classroom itself, in the class activity feed, but that's only if you're going to open up the class to the parents. If you have student accounts activated at your school, by all means, you can have it so that students can come in and access the learning from there. But for now, I'm going to share it through the evidence of learning. So I'm going to go into my math class, and I'm going to share it there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and access Google Meet. So I've opened up a new tab, and I'm going to click on this little Google Apps menu icon. We call it the waffle. Okay. There are 9 little dots, and then a drop-down menu appears, and then I'm going to click on Meet. Okay. You can also type in the address bar meet.google.com. Okay. Once you get to the Meet page, I'm going to click on Join or Start a Meeting, and then I'm going to create a nickname. And the reason why you want to create a nickname and just not create a link is because you want to have this link expire after you're done using it. You don't want students to be hanging around and using the Meet again for whatever purposes. So I'm going to enter a nickname, and I'm going to enter my name, my last name. So the date of the Meet, June 2nd, and the subject that I'm going to use this Meet for, so math. So June 2nd, math. Name, date, subject. And then I'm going to click Continue. And it has created this Meet for me called So June 2 Math, for So June 2nd Math. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your Edsby page. And I'm in the class that I want to post it for. I want to post it for my math class. I'm going to click on Evidence. Okay, and then I'm going to click New Evidence. I'm going to select all my students. So it's a whole class Meet, and you can do a Meet for just a group of students or an individual student. Then I'm going to click Next. And then in Write an Observation, this is where I'm going to give the information about the Meet. So next week, we will be having a math congress through Google Meet. It will be on May 2nd. Then I'm just going to copy and paste the Google Meet link. Not the entire link, just the Google Meet website link. Go to Google, nope, didn't paste. Google Meet and use nickname So May 2 Math. Okay, so that's very important. Please do not copy and paste the entire link. Do not copy and paste this link. It won't work. So just give them the general Google Meet link and then tell them the nickname. You will need to log into your GAPS account to access the Google Meet. Okay, and then once you're done, you're gonna click done. Okay, and then you can, add link curriculum expectations to this Google Meet. You can add custom tags, confirm it's all your students, and then I'm gonna share with student and parent. Click save. Okay, and then there it is. Okay, and if I go to the learning story, and they will have this Meet to access. Now, if you want this link, you want to make this link live, because otherwise parents would have to copy and paste this link. You can go back and share the link by adding a link here using the link icon. And then I'm just going to copy and paste that link. And then the submit button appears. And then I'm just going to click save. So then, yeah, they'll need to click on this and I'll take them to the Google Meet. So it makes a clickable icon, a link for parents, so they don't have to copy and paste that link. And once it's the day of the Google Meet, parents would go in. They would click on join or start a meeting, type in the nickname, continue, and then they would be able to access the meeting that way. So students or families, when they access the Google Meet, they won't be able to enter the Google Meet until the teacher is in first. The creator of the Google Meet is in the Google Meet first, and then students, they'll be waiting in the lobby to join the Meet. And then teachers will have to wait until everyone has left the Meet and then leave the Meet, because then that's when the Meet will expire. So please do not leave the Meet until all your students have left. And then once the last person, which is yourself, you leave the Meet, the link will expire and that Google Meet will no longer be active. Okay, so any questions about that?
So just to clarify, the meeting will end based on the time ending of the meeting, or the teacher ensuring that they're the last ones to leave?
It'll end when the teacher leaves.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you post the Google Meet in Edsby, please include the date, the time of the Google Meet, and what activity you'll be doing during the Google Meet. So it just gives the students and families a chance to prepare. So if you're doing a math congress, you can let the 2 or 3 students who's going to be sharing their solution or their strategies with, and just let them know that they're going to be sharing their solutions and strategies, and just have that all described in the post. Any other questions?
Hi, Susan. Could you maybe show a little bit about the setup menu and also being able to hide the new evidence button, especially for the homeroom classes, so teachers don't get confused and mix up, which class that they're taking evidence for?
Yes, good idea. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and present my screen. Okay. So I'm back in my teacher demo account, and I'm going to go into that setup form that Jemai was talking about. But before I do that, you can reorder your classes on your Edsby homepage. So you just drag and drop the classes, and you can rearrange the order of your classes. You can do the same for your groups. So you can drag and drop and reorder your groups. So you can do that with your classes. So I want my homeroom at the top, and then language there. Okay, so I'm going to access the setup form for my language arts. Going in to my language arts class, if you click on this drop-down menu where you would enable the QR codes for the students and families like I showed you before, it's beside the bell, click setup, and then this is my setup form. So from here, you can hide the new evidence button for this class on the classes panel. So if you tend to, like I do sometimes, click on the new evidence button instead of actually clicking into the class, you can hide the button. So that hides that new evidence button on your home page. You can also have the option to not have that class show up on your classes panel. So for example, if you are a Rotary teacher and you have a prep teacher and you have like 20 classes, 40 classes listed, and you don't really use Edsby for any of those classes, then you can hide those classes in the classes panel so you don't see them on your Edsby homepage. Okay, so I'm going to hide the new evidence button for this class. Click save. Then when I go back to my Edsby homepage, the new evidence button is gone. I can do the same and hide the actual class. So go back to setup, and then I'm going to unclick show in classes panel, and that's gonna hide, click save, that's gonna hide the class on my Edsby homepage. So there, it's gone. So my language class is gone. Doesn't mean it's been deleted. It just means that it's now hidden from my classes panel. Okay, was there anything else, Jamai, that I could show through the setup form?
No, that looks good. Just for teachers in doubt of anything, if something's not working, that's usually one of the first places that you'd want to go to in case you're wondering about, you know, a parent who can't see anything or something that's not being posted in your classroom. That's usually the first place that you'd want to visit. So thank you, Susan, for sharing that.
No problem.
Lauren has a question around the classes panel there. If you hide it from the class panel, is it just hidden from you, or everyone has access to that class, including the parents?
No, it's just to you. Because the parents, it lists all the classes that your child the parent's child is taking, and that data is fed from Trillium. So that's something you can't get rid of for the parents. It's just for your own reference, like for your own Edsby.
And Lauren, to add on to that, if a parent does click on that class, that's why the setup menu is important too, is that they will get a notification that says that the teacher hasn't opened that class yet. So if the teacher goes in through the setup menu and says they're not using, you know, a certain class like the Rotary subject, then the parent, even when they click on it, they won't have access to go into that class any further.
Okay, just to clarify, because I teach kindergarten, so I have all those extra classes that like don't get used. So if parents are clicking into those, they may not be seeing like my feed, because I only put my feed and my evidence in the one class, and then it obviously wouldn't transfer over. So there's no way to hide those extra classes from parents then.
No, you can't hide them, but you can make sure they don't go into the classes, so you don't allow them to enter. So I'll just show you how to do that quickly. I'm just going to make sure that the screen is presenting. Oh, and I got another question about how do I show the classes again after I've hid them. Click on classes, and then you'll see all your classes that you have, and then you'll see the class that I just hid. You just click on that. It gets up to my setup menu again, and then I'm going to click on show in class panel so that you can unhide it. Okay? So if you want parents not to enter into the class, just click into the class, go to the setup menu again, and then from here you have your students and parents options. So you want to make sure parents cannot enter the class. Okay, then even if they click on the class, and they won't be able to enter into the class.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
You can actually, can you change, I guess you can personalize your names as well. You personalize the name of the homeroom so you can, of the class, so that you can say do not enter or not in use. You can do that as well if you like. Okay, any other questions?
I just wanted to ask regarding the e-learning. I know we're not going to be assessing anything after March, but for moving forward, because I've been sending our e-learning as an attachment from Drive, our whole team has been doing this through Edsby. The parents have been responding with photos of the students' evidence of work from home through the broadcast. My question is, can we transfer that learning from the broadcast that they respond to back to us to the child's individual learning story?
Okay, so when parents respond to a broadcast, you'll see that it shows up in your Edsby message inbox, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll get a copy of that in your message inbox. Unfortunately, there's no way to transfer that or link it into your evidence of learning.
Okay.
Besides, downloading the photo and then uploading.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it gives us an indicator that they're, doing the work and completing it. I just wanted to know if it could just be in one spot, but certainly it's something to think about for the future and accessing the learning story.
yeah, it'd be a good idea to just have those parents move over to the learning story for next year, and use the broadcast more for like pushing out communication.
Right.
And using the messaging tool for reciprocal communication. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from participants? It's okay if you're all still shy, that's fine. We're always still here to help out afterwards. So first off, I want to thank Susan for walking us through the learning today. It's really appreciated for her to lead us through that. And also thank you to Stephanie and Jeff for managing behind the scenes and managing participant questions. We will be sending a follow-up email that will have a list of different resources that were shared and also the resources highlighting what Susan walked us through today. So look out for that in your inbox in the next day or two. So we'll be sending that information out. As always, you have the Edsby Elementary Teachers Group. If you have any questions that you want to ask related to the platform or troubleshoot in terms of pedagogy about what's the best, to ask those type of questions about what best practice is. And also we're gonna throw in the chat right now, if it hasn't already been done, the access to each of the digital literacy consultants in the board for all the different areas. So thank you so much to everybody coming out. Really appreciate you taking the time to do professional learning on what is a beautiful day right now. So we'll let you all get to that. And thanks again for coming out.
Thanks, everyone.